Hello everyone, my name is EVOO and welcome to Cooking with the Koyas. You know, when it comes to beets, you can easily find them in the grocery store on a shelf in a jar. I buy them in jars all the time. I love beets. They're very healthy, very good for you. But when you can get them fresh at the grocery store, folks, what an amazing difference when you roast these beets. The flavor is totally different. They're fantastic. Let me show you my recipe right now. Let's get started. So the first thing I do is I wash my beets, and I like to peel my beets. Now you could peel them after they're cooked, but if you do that, you're going to actually be removing all that beautiful seasoning that we're going to use. So I definitely recommend peeling your beets first as opposed to later. So with a potato peeler, very simply, just go around and peel them just like you would a potato. Okay? And once it's peeled, cut the end off. And then what I like to do is cut them to the size that you want to bake them in. And I like to do them, you know, like when you're roasting potatoes, same sort of thing. I like to make them about the same size. So there we go. I've got some wedges there. And as you can see, I'm using the gloves. Beets do stain. Okay, so I'm gonna sport the gloves right now, and I'm gonna continue to peel all these beets. I have just slightly over 1.5 pounds. I've got about 1.5 pounds of beets here that I'm gonna cook up today, and this is going to be the first step, is getting them all peeled and cut up. Okay, I'm on the last one now. We're gonna get this one done up. And I would like to mention also, you could, if you want, to add a little more flavor to your dish, get some potatoes and do the same thing. Peel the potatoes and cut them into pieces just like we're doing with the beets. And you can roast the potatoes, or sorry, the carrots and the beets at the same time. Okay, but today we're just doing beets only. All right, there we go. Let's cut up this last one, put them in, flat side, done. All right, now let's season these up. To season our beets, of course, it's very, very easy, but very, very important to season our beets. And the first ingredient, you guessed it, 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Okay, and we're gonna toss that up, get them all coated in the olive oil. Okay, and now next what we're going to do, we're going to add some paprika. So I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of paprika. Okay, again, just give it a quick toss. Get them all coated. Okay, we're going to toss them a little bit better, but right now that's good. They're coated. Next, we're going to add some oregano. Oh, let's say a tablespoon of oregano, maybe 3/4 of a tablespoon of oregano, and salt to taste. So as you wish with the salt. All right, that's it for the seasoning. Now, quite simply, toss them all around, and again, a spatula here is a great thing to use. You won't stain your wooden spoon that way. And plus, we're going to scrape everything out of this bowl and make sure that it gets cooks with the beets. Okay, now you folks out there, you know my theory. When you think you've tossed enough, toss some more. Okay, a couple more and we'll be good to go. All right, there we go. Everything is coated ever so nicely. I've given them an extra toss. And here, quite simply, I've got my baking pan, and I've put a sheet of parchment paper on there. In go the beets, and all this that you see here, all this seasoning in the bowl still, I'm going to use the spatula, and we're going to take that all out and spread that beautiful seasoning all on our beets. So with our beets, giving them a little bit of room. Okay, space them apart. I mean, if you have the room, definitely space them apart so the heat gets all around and they cook much, much nicer. And you're gonna see these are gonna sweeten up and actually caramelize. They cook up just fantastic. Okay. Okay, that's looking pretty good right there. And then, like I say, with this extra bit of seasoning that we have here, we're not gonna waste any of that. I'm just gonna just kind of sprinkle it around. Because I only have just a little bit of beets that I'm doing today just for Laura and I'm going to use the little toaster oven. Okay, now if you're using your main oven, of course you're going to want to preheat it to 375. So let me set that to 375, move it over to convection bake, get our timer set, and let's let it do its thing. So it's been 20 minutes. I've turned my timer off and let's take a look. Oh, looky there. Absolutely beautiful. And the way you could tell if they're cooked, just put a fork in it. And if the fork goes in easily, then it's cooked. So they could probably stay another minute or two, but because that one was a bit thicker, they're definitely cooked. Okay, now I should also mention, if you're doing this in your big stove, in your big oven, you're going to want to let it cook for 45 minutes up to 1 hour. In these little ovens, they cook much quicker, whether it's potatoes or beets, whatever you're baking, the bake time is always much quicker. So at 375 convection bake, it took 20 minutes to cook these. Let's get these plated. I am going to use my spatula again because I want those oils to also go in my serving platter, because there's a lot of flavor in that seasoning. Okay, there's that little bit there. Just gonna take that and add that as well. Perfect, there we go, looky there. Time for the taste test. So if you thought beets were dark to begin with, I mean, look how dark they are here. They darken right up, they caramelize a bit, and the flavor on these beets is a way different. They actually taste a little bit sweet. So totally different than what you're used to buying from the grocery store out of a jar. But you know what, folks, if you get an opportunity, see how quick that was and easy. Few simple ingredients, 20 to 25 minutes. I could have let them go another 5 minutes, but they're perfectly fine. And you're done. Otherwise, you can cook them in your big oven. Let them cook longer. A little hot. Delicious. Next time you're in the grocery store, by all means, if you see some fresh beets, don't walk right by them. Grab a bag, put them in your buggy, bring them home, try them. You will not be disappointed. These, folks, are very tasty. I want to thank you for joining me on today's episode of Cooking with the Koyas and our roasted beets. And until next time, bon appetito. Really good.